Hello and welcome to the third part in this tutorial series. Today we will be making these two pieces here, and again they will be using or able to use the texture sheet that we have created here for all these other objects. Now there was one thing I'd noticed from the last video. Again, I didn't save. I'm just not used to saving very regular because I never usually have that many problems. But the door frame, I never set the origin point to the center. So we shall do that now. We shall select that wall, Shift S, cursor to selected, select the door frame, set the origin point to the 3D cursor. Now that is done. Okay. So that is all good and dandy. Lovely. I'm going to leave that origin point there instead of moving it for now, because there may be a better way to use that door in the future. So I'm just going to leave it there for now, but it's all set fine as normal. Okay. So these two pieces, as you can see, are still 3 meters by 3 meters. And they are made from using this wall. So let's get to it. I will select these two and I shall delete them. I shall select this wall. I shall Shift D, X, hold Control key, move it across. Now first of all we will create the inner turn, which will come down this way. Let's go into top view, edit mode, make sure everything is selected, press Shift D and then rotate it this way round. Now as you do, hold the Control key until you get to 90 degrees, and there we have that piece. Now we need to move it into the correct position. So to do this, press the G key, hold Control, bring it over until it intersects just there. Then take your Y-axis, bring it down until it intersects just there, just like that, so that them edges line up as those them ones do there. And then we're keeping that origin point correct. Now to get the angle correct everywhere, you'd think it'd be difficult, but it's not as hard as it seems. So we will go into wireframe and we will start with this edge. We will switch to vertex snapping. We shall select and border select all them, or box select all them vertices there. Zoom in a bit so you can see. Okay. First thing we're going to do is press G, then Y, hold Control and snap it to that first vertex there. And we're going to press C for our circle select, press the middle mouse button to deselect, right click, G, Y, and then select the next vertex along. As you can see, this piece is our wall. There. So that's why it looks a bit strange. So again, we just press the C key, circle select, deselect that, right click, G, Y, hold Control, select the next vertex, and so on. C, right click, G, Y, next vertex, and so on. Circle select, middle mouse button, right click, G, Y, and then the next one. Now that's our first angle done. So as you can imagine, it would be similar across this side. So I would press B for box select, select all and vertices, GX this time, select the first vertex and let go. Now as you can see, they haven't done what I wanted them to, because there is a discrepancy in the height of the two pieces. So I've obviously moved it a little bit awkward. So if I just select L, let's select this piece here. Go to face select, press L, L, come on, there you go, L, L. And let's make sure that this is correct in position. So grab Z and let's just make sure that that is correct. There we go. Go back into vertice mode, and now we can see that those vertices have linked to each other. So let's reselect these, border select, GX, hold control, snap that vertice and you see it links. Okay, carry on. Circle select, deselect, GX, control, snap to that vertice, circle select, deselect, right click, GX, next vertice, circle select, middle mouse button, right click, GX, and then select to that one. And let's see what we've got so far. So if I go back into solid view, you can see we now have our skirting boards connected, our walls connected, and one piece. So let's do the inside section. Wireframe, edit mode. Now this time we will use this one. So we will box select all them vertices there. We'll press GX, hold control, snap to that vertice. C for circle select, deselect that one. GX, hold control, snap to the vertice. Circle select, middle mouse button, right click, GX, next one along, circle select, middle mouse button, right click, GX. And I'm sure you get the method by now, so I'll say it just one more time on this, but on the next piece I won't be doing this because you should understand it. Middle mouse button, right click, GX, snap it to that vertice. Same with the top one, borders box select, and this time GY, hold control, snap it to the vertice. C for circle select, middle mouse button, right click, GY, hold control, snap it to the vertice. Circle select, middle mouse button, GY, hold control, snap to the vertice. Circle select, middle mouse button, GY, snap. C, middle mouse button, right click, GY, and there we go. Now, as you can see, they're all done. Now these outer textures will stretch a tiny bit because there is slight extra. There's an extra 10 centimeters, but in game, you won't notice that. No one looks at textures that much detail when they're running through a scene, or you know, even walking through, you won't notice that. And just to show you that it will line up with other textures, I shall select that wall, press tab A, and as you can see they are all still in a 0 to 1 space in exactly the same position as the other piece. There's one wall, the other wall, which is the matching inside. I'll spin it round and there's the outer wall with the other outer wall. Okay, so you have in there is one skirting board set, which is matching up, and there's the other skirting board set, which is still in that 0 to 1 space. Okay, now let's make our next piece. Now we're not going to use this and turn it around because it'd be awkward. It's easier just to repeat what we did but the opposite way around. So let's just first name this as wall plane, or wall 01 corner 01. Now we must duplicate this again, and then first of all we shall change back to incremental snapping. Hold Control, hold the X and bring it across there. Now go into top view, wireframe, make sure everything is selected by pressing A again. Shift D, duplicate, and this time when we rotate, we'll start rotating around that way, hold Control until you get to 90 degrees. Now we shall grab it along the X, hold Control until it gets to there, grab the Y, hold Control until it gets to there. And now it's a case of repeating the steps that we did, starting with the outer first and then the inner, just like we did on the last one. So I'll go into wireframe, select the vertices and repeat. So grab it on the X. First we'll go into, make sure you change it to vertex mode. Grab it on the X, select it there, circle select that one, grab it on the X, there, so select that one, X, and it's just a case of keeping everything nice and lined up, and then everything should look really good when it's textured. There, that one snaps up. GY there. GY there. GY there. GY there. That's the first bit done. Now we shall. I'll start with this side. GX there. Select. I've done that one wrong. Control Z. Control Z. It's the way. That's the last. Yeah, no, I had it right. I had it correct. Sorry. GX there. That one. GX there, that one, GX there, and so on. And as you can see, once you get used to using the keys and remembering the shortcuts, it can be quite simple to get something quite nice. And we'll carry on. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see. Oop, not deselected that one. And it's coming along. to full view. Get it right way up. Okay. Solid mode, and there's our other piece. And we shall call this corner 02. We have corner 1 and corner 2, and as you see, I'm going to edit mode, I'm going to face select. They should be equaling the same, as well as the two inside ones should be the same. And the two inside ones should match the outside ones of that, and that's what we want. Okay, now the floor panel is quite simple. We'll just go into top view. We will press Shift C to reset our cursor. We will press Shift A, add a mesh plane, tab into edit mode, make sure we're on incremental snaps, grab, hold control, and just move it there like that. We select edge mode, grab it, select it, hold the X, hold control, pull it over. And then same with that one, grab the Y, hold control, pull it over. Now these will be unwrapped separately. These will be using a substance painter material. I will show you how to do that in Unity when we get there. But all we have to do to unwrap this is press U, unwrap. And we want it to stay fully in the 0 to 1 space. We want no bleed on this, otherwise it will not tile correctly. And we shall call that floor 01. Now to make the ceiling, we shall go into edit mode and go into front view, and we shall grab it and move it up there as such. Now the normals will be the wrong way round. Turn that view. As you can see there, it's upside down, so if we was in game that would become invisible, which is not what we want. We want that to be totally visible, otherwise it would be absolutely useless and you'd see into the next floor above. So we are going to flip that normal, pressing Control N, and then change it to inside, and that flips the normal. And as you can see, the origin point is still down at the correct place down there. So when it comes into game, you will be able to snap it perfectly just by pressing grab, holding it across, and as you can see, it snaps to the next piece. Let's turn our manipulator back on and put these pieces together. And I have not done the window one yet, so let's just go back and we will do set origin to 3D cursor so that it all moves. In fact, we can just grab it all in one, move it over, grab all that, move that over. Let's and I have not duplicated before. How about that? So we'll call this ceiling 01. I'm going to edit mode. No, we won't. We should duplicate it first with Shift D. Move it across. So we should go into edit mode. move it down, Control N, flip the normal, and then we call this floor 01. Okay, so now we can start using these modular pieces as such. So if I do Shift D, oh, there we go, then I can start rotating these and piecing them together. And as you can see, all we do is if I rotate it along the Z, like so, and then each piece will perfectly match up. As such, that was the wrong piece I put there really. But you can soon get yourself a playable area like this. And then the floor, well, let's just make this corridor correct first. Shift D, holding Control, rotate, like so. Let's take these, move them up one, take this, Shift D, which one do we need? Corner wall 1, it's corner wall 1, corner wall 1, it's not what we want, corner wall 2 is the one we want for there. Yeah, we'll delete that, we shall grab that there, rotate it like so, we shall rotate, and then we shall Shift D, rotate it, grab it, we shall rotate that there, grab it, and then you can see that once these textures are in, this will go that way, and you can soon build up your area. As you move things around, let's see, yes, got the ceiling there. And this is just a simple corridor, and you can easily put a doorway where a wall is and things like that. walls. So I will shift D, X, there, rotate it along the Z 180, grab it there, pull it that way, and then shift D on the X there. And now we go in perspective view, press shift F, tab, and it'll sit you on the floor. And now we have our modular sets working fine. Let's just move around this corridor so you can see, and as you can see, get to the end, we would fall off if we went too far. But yeah, so now you can start building an interior of rooms with basic simple building blocks. And obviously you can go through a door, and when you go through that door, if you select one of these, this piece here, and go into top view, into orthographic mode, and go shift D, hold control, select it there, rotate it this way, and then move it up. Okay, and then shift D across, rotate it that way, bring it back. Let's open this door, rotate on the Z, let's just leave it there like that. Take this wall panel, shift D, Y, take the roof one, shift D, Y. Now, back in perspective mode, and we should hopefully be able to go through that door. Do shift F, tab, go into first person. You can use the WASD keys to move while in this, and the mouse to look. And there we go, and there is the startings to our modular setup. And obviously once these are in game and they're all textured, they should look quite good, you know. And you don't have to stop there, you can make different size pieces. You don't have to just use a 3 meter by a 3 meter piece like we have, but this is a good start because it keeps everything nice and square, gives you plenty of room to move around in the level, left and right. So yeah, and there we are. That is the first sections done. I mean the ceiling, which should be unwrapped, so each one of these is equally unwrapped, and now everything is correct. So if you want, you can build yourself a little corridor series using these pieces, practice putting them in the correct place for now, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you soon. See ya, bye bye.